This is Tiffany from the Beach Bum Bookworm. I'm so glad to be here with you today. My channel is all about cozy mysteries and romance, and today I am continuing my Spotlighting Cozy series. We've been looking at needlepoint cozies, so crocheting, knitting, sewing, quilting, weaving. I don't know what else will come upon, but we'll see. Let me know which of these that you read, which of these you're enjoying. Anything else that you want to talk about, down there is the place to do it. This is also the last part of this particular spotlight. I know, I thought that there would be more. I'm pretty disappointed, but I do want to say again, that leaves plenty of room for authors to come in and write some great needlepoint cozies, which I would be thrilled with. So I do have two different suggestions for my next spotlight if you guys would like to vote, or you can also just give me one that you're interested in seeing and I will take it from there. All right, guys, on your way down a comment though, don't forget to stop, hit that subscription and the notification bell. That's going to tell you when I put out new videos each and every single week. All right, let's get to it. We're spotlighting cozies. We're looking at needlepoint cozies in 3, 2, 1, go. The first series is called Tangle Web Mystery Series. This is by Sadie Hartwell. It says the main character is Josie Blair. She is a yarn shop owner in Connecticut. Josie Blair left Dorset Falls 12 years ago in hopes of making it big in New York City. But after earning an overpriced master's degree and getting fired by a temperamental designer, she finds herself heading back to her hometown. Her great uncle was injured in a car accident, and newly unemployed Josie is the only person available to take care of him. Uncle Eb's wife didn't survive the crash. So Josie is also tasked with selling the contents of Aunt Cora's yarn shop. But the needling ladies of the Charity Knitters Association pose a far bigger challenge than a shop full of scattered skeins. Miss Marple Knits is one of the few businesses still open in the Drury downtown. Josie can't imagine how it stayed open for so long, yet something about the cozy, resilient little shop appeals to her. But when one of the town's most persnickety knitters turns up dead in a pile of cashmere yarn, Josie realizes there's something truly twisted lurking behind the town's decaying facade. 2 books in that series. I will definitely be checking it out. Sounds super cute. The next one is called the Crochet Mystery Series. This is by Betty Hechtman. The first book is called Hooked on Murder. It's right here. The main character is Molly Pink. She is a crochet group member and she plans events at a bookstore, which would be an amazing job. So it says, for Molly, the weekly crochet group at Shed and Royal Books and More, was just another event to manage. Then she stumbled across the body of group leader Ellen. Her complicated past with Ellen has made her a prime suspect, and after being cuffed and questioned, she could use a little diversion. Never mind that she doesn't know how to crochet. Granny squares don't look that hard to make. But while Molly's fending off a detective with a grudge and navigating crochet group politics, the real killer is at large, and it's up to Molly to catch the culprit before she winds up in a tight knot. It says that there are recipes and crochet patterns. There are 14 books in that series. I actually think there is a couple of needlepoint cozies that I read, but it's been multiple years. I need to go back and look at my Goodreads and actually see what's correct and what's not. Because sometimes Goodreads, I've marked things, I haven't marked things. But usually if I read the synopsis or definitely a couple chapters in a book, I know if I've read it or not. So I need to go back and look that out because I enjoyed the ones that I read. And this might be one of them. If it's not, it's certainly one on my TBR because it sounds so good. The next one is the Yarn Retreat series. It's by Betty Hechtman as well. The first book is called Yarn to Go. It's right here. We recently read the first book in for our Cozy Mystery Challenge, Knockout Challenge. So the main character is Casey. She is a dessert chef and so her aunt passes away and she's left. So there was supposed to be this yarn retreat that her aunt was running. And so Casey takes it over and she knows nothing about knitting. And lots happens, and I can't wait to read the second one. So the first one, though, says, when Casey finds out her late aunt's business, Yarn to Go, has one more yarn retreat scheduled, she decides to go ahead and host the event, despite her complete lack of experience as a knitter. At least the retreat is in the beautiful Monterey Peninsula, but the idyllic setting is soured when a retreat regular is found murdered in her hotel room. Feeling a sense of responsibility, Casey begins to weave the clues together and detects a pattern which may shed light on her aunt's suspicious death. Despite the danger, the last thing Casey plans to do is retreat. She'll catch this killer or die, D-Y-E. Get it? Trying. 6 books. I enjoyed the first one. Can't wait to get to the second one. The next one is the Knitting Mystery series. This is by Mary Kruger. The main character is Ari. She is the owner of a knitting shop in Massachusetts. The first book is called Dyed in the Wool. It is right here. When knitting shop owner Ari Evans stumbles upon the body of Edith Perry, a temperamental customer in her shop, she is plunged into the investigation of the crime, especially when her close friend Diane becomes a prime suspect and Detective Joshua Hayes, baffled by the knitting aspects of the case, enlists her assistance. 2 books in that series. It's another one that sounds really good. Every time I do these, my own TBR it's teetering. It's on the brink, you guys. It's been on the brink for years. I don't know why I say it like it's any different, like at this point. Thank gosh for Goodreads. Meaning that my TBR is all kind of electronic and not actually like sitting around like in the old days. So the next series is the Embroidery Mystery series. This is by Amanda Lee. The main character is Marcy. She's the owner of an embroidery shop, and this series takes place in Oregon. The first book is called The Quick and the Thread. When Marcy Singer opens an embroidery specialty shop in quaint Tallulah Falls, Oregon, she throws a soiree and a stitch in. Soon, Marcy's sign-up sheet for embroidery classes fills up and everyone in town seems willing to raise a glass or a needle to support the newly opened 7-year stitch. It's a great name. Then, Marcy finds the shop's previous tenant dead in the storeroom, a message scratched with a tapestry needle on the wall beside him. Now, Marcy's shop has become a crime scene and she's the prime suspect. 10 books in that series. Definitely will be checking that one out. I think it's one that I've heard people kind of chit-chatting about on the Discord, and if so, it sounds like it's great. The next one is a series by Molly McRae. I just saw her at Malice. Let me tell you, I'm preparing a video of the authors that presented a 1-minute spill about their newest book from Malice. It's taken me a while because I'm not sure all of them are cozy mysteries because a lot of them I hadn't heard of. They look like they could be cozy, but not necessarily. So I'm trying to kind of do a little more research before I do the video. But I do want to say that she was there, and every other author that was there was so kind and so personable. They were just like chit-chatting like regular people. And I'm just joking about that last comment about regular people, but it's kind of like when you were little and you saw your teacher anywhere but the school, you're like, I remember asking my mother when I was very, very young. I saw one of my teachers in the grocery store and I was like, why isn't she at the school? Like, what is she doing out? Like, apparently I just thought she lived at the school, stayed at the school, did nothing else, but you know. So I don't know if that's the association, but regardless, and she was one that was so kind, so personable. All of them were. I was really impressed. She writes the Haunted Yarn Shop series. The first book is called Last Wool and Testament. It's right here. The main character is Kath. She is a wool shop owner and ghost in Tennessee. Kath is about to learn the true meaning of TGIF. Thank goodness it's fiber. That's the name of the spunky group of fiber and needlework artists founded by Ivy McClellan, Kath's beloved grandmother. Though Ivy has recently passed on, the members still meet regularly at her fiber and fabric shop, the Weaver's Cat, which Kath has now inherited. But that's only the first in a series of surprises when Kath returns to the small town of Blue Plum, Tennessee to settle her grandmother's affairs. There's been a murder, and it turns out her grandmother was the prime suspect. Before she can begin to clear Ivy's name, Kath encounters a looming presence in the form of a gloomy ghost. Oh my goodness. It turns out the specter has just as much interest in solving the murder as Kath. So with a little help from the members of TGIF and a stubborn spirit from beyond, she sets out to unravel the clues and hook the real killers. 6 books in that series. Sounds adorable. It's a haunted yarn shop. I'm going to give it a try because, I mean, it doesn't sound haunted like scary. It sounds really cute. This next series I had never heard of, so I'm super interested in it. It's a weaving mystery series. This is by Carol Ann Martin. The first book is called Looming Murder. It's right here. The main character is Della. She is the owner of Dream Weavers. She's teaching weaving in North Carolina. I would love to learn how to weave. I remember going on a field trip once where somebody was like using one of those big weavers to like weave a rug or something, and I was so entranced by it. Oh, seems really complicated though. It says Della Wright has come to peaceful and picturesque Briar Hollow at the foot of the Blue Ridge Mountains to realize her lifelong dream of owning a weaving studio to promote her new business, Dream Weavers. Della is offering weaving workshops for all levels of ability. In her first class, she meets half a dozen of the town's colorful characters who seem as eager to gossip as to learn how to loom. Okay, I'm so into this. But when a shady local businessman is found murdered, Briar Hollow suddenly appears a lot less idyllic. Sure, as murders in small towns mostly do. And when one of her weaving students is suspected of the crime, Della can't help getting entangled in the investigation with some help from her criminologist friend Matthew. But she can't weave together clues as well as she weaves together yarn, and stopping a killer from striking again seems daunting. 4 books in that series. Can't wait. I can't wait to check that one out. The next series is Deadly Notions. This is by Kate Price. The first book is called Going Through the Notions. It's right here. It says the main character is Daisy. She is a retired school teacher. She is the manager of Great Notions Sewing, an antique shop in a quaint town in Pennsylvania. Daisy has her eye on an antique dollhouse and a classic singer featherweight at the local auction until her friend and mentor, auctioneer Angus, is led away in handcuffs. It appears he bashed the head in of a drinking buddy who stole a set of fancy fountain pens. That's a... You have to have a... Wow. All right. Daisy's sure the sprightly old-timer couldn't have done it. But if Daisy can't stitch together the bitter truth, and soon, Angus will be going once, going twice, gone forever. 3 books in that series. I will be reading that one as well. The next one is the Knitting Mystery series by Maggie Sefton. The first book is called Knit 1, Kill 2. It's right here. It says the main character is Kelly Flynn. She is learning to knit in the house of Lambspun. Kelly would be the first to admit her life in Washington, D.C. is a little on the dull side. But coming back to Colorado for her beloved aunt's funeral wasn't the kind of excitement she was seeking. The police are convinced that her Aunt Helen's death was the result of a burglary gone wrong. But for the accountant and Kelly, things just aren't adding up. After all, why would her sensible 68-year-old aunt borrow $20,000 just days before her death? With the help of the knitting regulars at the House of Lambspun, Kelly's about to get a few lessons in cranking out a sumptuously colored scarf and luring a killer out of hiding. 16 books in that series. It's another one that sounds really cute. And it sounds like there's a group of, her friends. Y'all know, seniors, group of seniors, knitting. These are like right. All of these have been like right up my alley. The next one is the Mainly Needlepoint series. This is by Leah Waite. The first book is called Twisted Threads. It's right here. It says the main character is Angie. She is the organizer of a needlepoint co-op in Haven Harbor, Maine. Mainly Needlepoint. Mainly is spelled like, yeah. Returning to the quaint coastal town of Harbor Haven, Maine, a place she once called home, Angie Curtis finds her memories aren't all quite pleasant ones, as that sometimes happens. After leaving a decade ago, Angie has been called back to Harbor Haven by her grandmother Charlotte, who raised her following her mother's disappearance when she was a child. Her mother has been found, and now the question of her whereabouts has sadly become the mystery of her murder. The bright spot in Angie's homecoming is reuniting with Charlotte, who has started her own needlepointing business with a group called Mainly Needlepointers. But when a shady business associate of the Stitchers dies suddenly under suspicious circumstances, Charlotte and Angie become suspects. As Angie starts to weave together clues, she discovers that this new murder may have ties to her own mother's cold case. 9 books. That seems like not a typical cozy. Let me know if you've read that. This Leah Waite has a ton of books, and there's 9 books in that series, but that just doesn't sound like a typical cozy. So the rest of these are going to be, I think a lot of them are KU, which I'm really excited about because I just got KU, and some of these series sound so good. I've put so many books on my KU list already that I don't even imagine between my Goodreads list, which has close to 5,000 books, and then how many I put on my KU list, how many books that I want to read. It's just, okay. From here on out, I'm also not going to read the whole synopsis. I'm just going to show you the books, tell you the covers, tell you the series, and let you look them up if those are something that you're interested in. So the first one is the Yarn Genie Mystery Series. The first book is called Hooked into Murder. It's right here, and this is by Celeste Bennett. There are 4 books in this series. The next one is called The Knit-torious. So the Knit-torious Murder Mystery Series by Reagan Davis. The first book is called Knit 1 Murder 2. It is right here. There are 10 books in this series. The next one is called the Fiber Mavens Mystery Series. This is by J. Traveler Pelton. The first book is called Criminally Crocheted. It's right here. There are 4 books in this series. And the little bit I saw said that like it was a Amish fiber shop. So that sounds really fun. The next one is the Apron Shop series. It says the main character is a seamstress, but I don't know if she owns just a apron shop, if she does like mending, but it was included in all of the needlepoint places that I look for research to do this spotlight, so I'm going to include it. So the main character says she's a seamstress. This is by Elizabeth Penny, and the first book is called Hems and Homicide. It's right here. There are 3 books in that series. The next one is a quilt shop. I was so excited to see this. It's called the Taylor Quinn Quilt Shop series. This is by Tess Rothery, and the first book is called Bound and Deceased. It's right here, and there are 7 books in that series. So that is our Spotlighting Cozies needlepoint. These feel like they're not as long as... It's very, very telling on what's really popular and what doesn't have as many series, because when I think about these, I think, oh, there's a ton of them. And then I get into it and there's not nearly as many as I thought there were. So that wraps up the Spotlight and Cozy Needlepoint. And that means we are starting a new spotlight. So what I was thinking was I would either do garden, flower shop, all of those kind of things mixed together, or antiques. That's the other one that I'm thinking next. I have a ton of others, so if neither of those interest you, please make your own suggestions. Otherwise, vote on those, and I will take it from there. I'll probably look up until Wednesday, and then I'll have to start doing research for filming the next videos. All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed this spotlight, and until next time, may all your future reads be 5 stars. Bye, everyone!